This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by State Farm Insurance.
Well, September is National Life Insurance Month, and that means there's no better time than right now to start asking questions about your life insurance.
Do you have enough? Do you need any? Well, here to show us the tools that you need to know the answer to those questions is Matt Basil, who is, did I say right? Basil. Matt Basil.
Right.
Sorry, Matt.
We'll
who is a State Farm agent in Dover. Thank you, Matt, for coming. I appreciate that.
Very well. Thanks for having me.
Can you explain to me what life insurance is?
It can do a lot of different things, but the main point is to make sure that your family's financial future is not jeopardized if something were to happen to you or your spouse or a loved one, for that matter.
So what kind of things can it cover? I mean,
it can cover anything from educational expenses if you have children and you want to make sure that they'll be able to go to school, whether or not you or your spouse are there. Obviously, mortgages,
right.
Any type of debt, vehicle loans, whether it's a finite amount or even final expenses, funeral costs, etc.
So it can basically just make sure everything financially is taken care of.
Absolutely.
If something should happen to you,
That's
if you
exactly
should
what
die.
the purpose is.
Now, some older people do not have life insurance.
Right.
Is it too late? Do you have something for them?
No, it's never too late. There's always an option, no matter what age you are. I think the most important thing to do, though, is to make sure you talk to a professional about it. I know a lot of companies are trying to commoditize it now. Make sure you get in front of somebody who knows what they're doing so they put you in the right type of policy, because it really makes a big difference.
You got to be able to plan ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, now there's different types of insurance. We got term, we've got permanent. What is term?
Term life insurance is, for lack of a better way to explain it, it's like leasing a vehicle.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're essentially paying a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time for a certain amount of death benefit or coverage, for a better way to put it. It's there for finite expenses, just like we talked about with the mortgage. For instance, when you have children, you know they'll be going to school within a 5-year period, or 10-year period, 15-year period. You only need to cover that need for that amount of time, right? So everything is based on a finite amount. So at the end of your term, you have the opportunity to renew it. However, it's based on your new age. So big expense, small amount of money. It's perfect for that, especially something finite.
Gotcha.
All right. Then there's also permanent insurance.
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
Permanent insurance, people hear of cash value life insurance. You may hear universal life. You may hear whole life. There are a lot of different variations on it, but the point of that is to be just that, owning a life insurance policy, something that you will certainly have in place for the rest of your life. And similarly to term, you'll have a level premium for your entire life, but it has some benefits in that it can gain cash value. It can pay dividends. People can use things like that for retirement funding, college funding, emergency funding. We see that a lot now with the economic times as they are. We'll get a lot of folks we write checks to because out of their life insurance.
Right.
And so that's pretty much what we.
But
what we look for.
the cash value will come in with the permanent.
It only comes in with the permanent, correct?
Not with the term.
Absolutely. So a little more costly, but a lot of benefit.
A lot of benefit to that.
All right. Now there's actually some tools, because you got to figure out how much you need, obviously. So there's a calculator you can find.
There is on statefarm.com/life needs, and it's I know they're going to show it to you here. It's a great tool. Don't let the animation fool you. It actually does perform a good service.
Right.
It will come up with your need. It takes into account a lot of things and more personal things. Rather than just giving you a blanket, hey, here's $250,000 in life insurance. This will tell you, you have this need. Let's subtract what you have currently, and let's make sure we fill that gap.
So you can plug in your values.
Absolutely. Everything there is based on you or your spouse or wherever you are individually. So.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When it comes to life insurance, are we talking primarily the main breadwinner of the house?
Absolutely not.
No?
That's the current the common misconception is only the breadwinner needs to have it. The breadwinner absolutely needs to have it. However, I think a lot of wives and actually stay-at-home husbands will tell you what they do is priceless. There is an amount of money that it takes to take care of the children. There are a lot of things. For instance, we see a lot of child policies. So you don't purchase policies on a child because you're worried your child is going to die. What you're doing is you're giving them. We talked about the cash value. That's a big part of it. We also talk about the emergency savings. That's a big piece of it. When they get old enough, you can hand them an asset is what you're doing. And then finally, the most important part is you're guaranteeing their insurability. And you talked about there's no age that's too late to buy life insurance. However, it is possible to be uninsurable. So if you're doing that for your child young enough, you're giving it to them when they're very healthy, and they'll always have it for the rest
So
of their
this
life.
is an important thing to have. Get busy and find out more about it.
I
Matt,
think so.
Thank you so much for coming
That is
in.
Thank you.
good
I appreciate it.
information.
I appreciate it.
stuff.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
And if you would like to access the calculator to find out the life insurance coverage amount that's right for you, go to delmarvalife.com and click on your search tab.
A little bit later on Delmarva Life, we are going to dip into the Delmarva Life mailbag and answer some of your questions.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But next, the hot new trend, more women are getting fired up. We'll tell you why and find out what you, our viewers, think about it. Delmarva Life, life at its best here on Delmarva.